Hi everyone, this is CJ here, and this is a video that is part of the hashtag lovesummerart collaboration that a lot of the artists are getting together and doing. I want to thank you for coming to visit, and this video is actually going to be based upon some tips and tricks and things that I do to save a little money or to save some space. Just take it however you want to. I have a small area and it helps me, and maybe it'll help you also. So let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I want to talk about is what I keep my paint in, and that is going to be this case right here. You see that? Do you recognize what that is? Oh yeah, I see your hand up over there in the back. Right, it's an old pop case, one of the old wooden ones. And I've had this for quite some time and it works great. I don't have a lot of paint and it holds just what I need. If you buy mints and keep the little containers like this, you can always peel the foil off of here, and then this becomes a great container for you to put a lot of different things into. Maybe your brads, buttons, whatever you have. And then they can just stack up just like this. Put your own label on the front. Makes for great new storage. And what about coffee containers? Here's a coffee container. Just think of the possibilities. You could either put paint on that or decorate it with paper or yarn. So many different things that this can become. A lot of you that like to make dolls, I'm sure that you've seen these little plastic bottles like this. A lot of different things come in them, and they make great bodies for dolls. In fact, I've made quite a few myself. And what about jars? Seems like we've always got something coming in a jar. Well, in this case, I'm storing some pinto beans in these. But I also have some in which I store other things. Just think of the different possibilities you could put in there. Make it colorful, and it just really would help brighten up a room also. I'll bet you everybody has these in their household. These are great. You can not only store things in them, but you can ship things in them. If you have something that's real fragile, like I was making some tiny clay pieces that I was afraid would get broken, and what I did was I packed them in these, and it was worked out just great. Okay, I get these all the time in the mail. I've made a lot of many different things with these, and let's see, you could take a picture and put on the front of it and they could be hung. You can put some type of like cork on here. I've used glassed beads around the edge, and then that becomes a nice holder for either a drink or for a candle. I have seen some people actually try and cut these apart and use them like a mosaic. I've tried that, and for me personally that did not work because there's a film between the two layers, and once you cut into that it falls apart. But the ideas that go on for this are just, I mean, they're out there. Check through the different listings and I'll bet you find some more things. I save a lot of the packaging that different items come in. In this case, let's see if you can tell what this is. See there? Bag of chips. I turned it inside out. Now, I can mail something in this, okay? I can either tape the top down, I can sew the top down, but it just saves me a few pennies right there. This is a potato bag, and it is really nice. It is something that is very strong because you figure those potatoes were a little bit heavy in there. and it has this cord through there. This could be used for a lot of different things, so I'm not going to throw it away. Magazines. I'll bet you everybody out there has a stack of magazines somewhere. Okay, here's a suggestion. Take the magazine, sit down, go through it, and pull out everything that you want to save. Now don't sit there and tell me that you want to, oh, I'll read that article later, I'll need to get back to it. And how many articles is that you need to get back to? Well, if it's that important, pull it out, get rid of the rest of it. And I'm saying just stick it in a box. Use it for something else. You can be cut up, it can be shredded, it can become part of paper mache, it can go down in your journals. But if it's something special, like this picture of this frog, I love, love, love this frog. I'm going to put him in my folder that has animals. Okay? Have you ever seen this? I'll bet you have. Get these every time I get a bill. Okay? Inside, you can see there's a design. Now, I have used that on some things in the past, but I also just reuse this envelope for other things. Not necessarily the bill that it was intended for, because I'll pay for that online. But don't throw these away. You can put them into your journal. There's just so many different things that you can do with these. Old pieces of cardboard. Cut it up into pieces that are easy to handle and wrap your different pieces of lace and trim around. Just like this. Takes up less room, and then you can put it into a box. So much nicer. That way when it's on edge and they're all standing up, you can see exactly what you've got. These are page protectors. I use page protectors like they're going out of style, so I always watch to see when they're going on sale. A lot of times you can pick them up at the dollar store, and that's a great place to visit on a regular basis. You can find many, many different items in there that will save you money. In this case, this was the collection of birds that I have. I just went ahead and put it into my page protectors, and I'm not worried about being able to see the whole bird, because if I really am looking for something, I'll just empty out the whole page and take a look and see what's in there. You can see where this has come from. See there? Lots of birds. And I'll bet you I even have some that are between my two pages. See? In there? More birds. I keep a notebook, and I just have it listed A through Z. And like under A, I may have a listing of different animals. Under B, I may have a specific area for just birds. Okay, and just go on from there. Now, this plastic container that you see right here, the holes, my husband and I love to go shooting at the range, and this is what the bullets come in. Works out great for my little tiny stamps. I keep them right in order, A through Z, and my extras up here, and I can know exactly what I've got. Styrofoam sheets. I see these on sale all the time. I like to get these and cut them up. Sometimes you can get a bag of them that already have shapes. In this case, I've just made a couple of these, and you can use these as a stamp. You can use them as a stencil. I like to use these on my homemade jelly print surface. On the jelly, on making the different jelly prints, to make a jelly print plate, there are different recipes online that you can check into, and I would highly recommend that. Packing material. We all have some packing material, at least I do. I don't keep a whole lot of it, but what I do have, I can use to stamp with. I can use it for shipping. And I have both the large ones that will pop and the smaller ones. More packing material. You get something in the mail, and invariably it's going to be packed in some kind of paper. I will take and flatten it out, try to get it roughly all the same size, and look at this. I have a couple of signatures all ready to go into a journal. Another kind of page protector. This is one in which you can put baseball cards into, but I know a lot of you that are already working out there in artist land is using these for ATCs and for the pocket letters. They work great. You can also put very small pieces of ephemera in there. Something I really love to have, and I've gotten a lot of these at the dollar store. When I'm shopping, I always try to consider what something is going to cost me. I don't like to spend more than I absolutely have to, but in the same breath, I like to look for things that I can reuse. Look at this tissue box. Isn't that cute? Now I know that once this gets used, I'm going to break this down and I'll use this butterfly in other pieces somewhere else. Okay, this is a little pin cushion. It's made from a bottle cap. Okay, in the bottle cap what we did was stuff it with cotton. Put a piece of material over the top, a little trim around the edge, and felt on the bottom. Super easy. Decorated it with a button. At one time I made a whole big bunch of these and sold them at a consignment shop. I think this may be one of the last ones I have. I'll have to make some more. They don't take very long, and guess what? I used scrap materials. Scrap of cloth, ephemera, and some felt, and then went together so nice. If you've got an old book and you're just not sure what you're going to do with it, if you're not into making journals, but you like to doodle and draw, my suggestion is to take that old book, and you can pick these up at Goodwill for next to nothing, and just start creating some drawings in it. In this case, it's an old dictionary that I like to draw in. I made this drawing under C, which was for cartoon. And as I go through this old dictionary, when I come to another letter that I like, let's see if we can find another one. This was under what letter? That's right, it's the H for hat. This is also a good project for an older child. I say older simply because we don't want the younger kids drawing in their books, unless they're intended for that. Okay, this is a glass jar that, oh goodness, I must have had this jar for 10 years or more. And what I do is I just put my scrap pieces of, this trim in there like this. It's colorful, it sits on the shelf, doesn't get dusty, and I'm reusing something. This is a little notebook that a friend of mine gave to me in a swap, and I'm hoping that she didn't pay much for it. I'm guessing she probably didn't because she knows how I am about spending. But what I decided to use this for was to keep my swap information in. And I'm going to cover up this right here like this. But at the top I've got deconstructed art journaling. I have the group, I have the date due, whether or not I mailed it, and when I receive it. And then I put the names of the people down below. When it's done, when I've collected everything, I put done at the top, and then I just turn the page and go on from there. Just another way of organizing my swaps so that I don't forget someone. Old boxes. Everybody's got them. This happens to be an old shoe box. I picked up some duct tape at the dollar store, and I decided just to recover this. You can see I used white, then I went over the edges with another type or design of the tape. Then inside this box, here's the edge. Inside the box you can store lots of different things. You can store, oh yes, I forgot to say these are the old CD cases. You can put your rubber stamps into those. You can also store your die cut, your embossing folders, and it looks pretty on the shelf. Alright, last thing I want to mention are these things. Bet you got some in your drawer. I know I do. I pick them up whenever they're on sale. I use these a lot. And don't think that just because you are maybe not as young as you wish you were, and your memory's starting to go, now that's me I'm talking about, I started using these a lot. Like if I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store, I've already got a list of things that I need from the store, and I just put it right on my refrigerator. Everybody in the household knows that, okay, gosh, we've just ran out of syrup. Write it down. That way when I get ready to go to the store, pick up the sheet and I'm gone. A lot of you will also keep a note like that in your phone, and that's another good idea. For me, a little piece of paper on these sticky note pads works best, simply because when you've got so many different people in the household, you may have a lot of different lists to go by. One of the last things I'll mention is this. We all know what that is. It's drop paper. In this case, it just happens to be an old calendar that I've gotten from somewhere. I always have this down and ready to use. There's so many different things you can do with these papers. Cut them up, put them in folders, in journals, just whatever you want to do with it. And you can see lots of different color, and I just started on this one yesterday. So much fun. Well, it looks like my time is just about up. I could go on and on and on, but in this case I'm going to go ahead and see how much more time I have. Let's see. Oh, just a little bit. Here, let me do real quick. This is a case in which if you were traveling, you could put lots of goodies into it. This is a container that I keep for scraps that I'm working on at that particular time. Another box in which I put toilet paper rolls into for my pencils. This is a file folder that I keep a lot of different art things in. And this is a basket I keep my napkins in. Also, if you have a two-story house, put your basket by the stairs and take it up with you when you go. Okay, time's up. Gotta go. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye.